Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News, your trusted source for the most critical developments in global currency revaluation. As of the current date in the USA, we're entering a moment that could reshape everything investors have anticipated. According to trusted analyst Frank26, recent updates confirm that rates for both the Iraqi Dinar IQD and Vietnamese Dong VND have been finalized. Not speculated, not proposed. But what does that actually mean for you, the investor? What steps should you take next, and what risks must you avoid? In today's special report, we break down exactly what's happening behind the scenes and why now may be the most pivotal moment in your revaluation journey. Frank26 has long been a recognizable voice in the foreign currency community. His latest message outlines a shift in tone, from speculation to confirmed action. Both Iraq and Vietnam, according to his analysis, have completed the internal and external requirements to stabilize their respective currencies. For Iraq, that has included streamlining oil exports, minimizing corruption, improving trade routes, and confirming pricing structures internally. Frank explains that Iraq has already begun trialing a unified exchange rate with the US dollar internally, one of the clearest signs of monetary readiness. This groundwork signals more than just policy reform. It paves the way for international credibility and investor confidence, which are crucial in determining the real-world value of a national currency. On the Vietnamese side, things have also been evolving rapidly. Vietnam has long been considered an economic powerhouse in Southeast Asia, supported by manufacturing strength, high export rates, and increasing foreign investment. But despite this success, the Vietnamese dong has been kept undervalued for strategic reasons. Frank suggests that this is now changing. Government and banking officials have reportedly updated internal systems to align with revised rates, preparing for a more accurate valuation. If the information is accurate, it means implementation is not just imminent, it's already underway at a technical level. So what does finalized really mean in this context? According to Frank26, it refers to new IQD and VND rates being locked in within secure international banking systems. These are not yet available to the public. Instead, these so-called non-disclosed rates are visible only to financial institutions as part of a controlled rollout. It's a standard global practice when currencies undergo major recalibration. The purpose is to allow central banks and global partners to prepare for reactions without triggering market chaos. These rates remain hidden from retail Forex platforms, but are real, confirmed, and waiting for what Frank calls the green light, the coordinated trigger that will make these values publicly visible. That green light could be tied to political shifts, economic indicators like oil price benchmarks, or scheduled international meetings. What matters is that both Iraq and Vietnam, along with financial bodies like the IMF, are reportedly aligned on executing this change in a way that benefits local citizens and global stakeholders. Frank also highlights the dual rate possibility, one used inside the country and another for global exchange, which he says could help manage economic shock and prevent instability during rollout. This strategy would temporarily maintain domestic pricing balance while still unlocking foreign exchange opportunities for international markets. Frank26 has emphasized that this isn't just about technical milestones. Trust and long-term credibility matter. Both Iraq and Vietnam have taken significant steps over the past 5 years to improve transparency, stabilize leadership, and rebuild confidence from global institutions. Iraq's central bank operations have modernized, while Vietnam has risen in international business rankings. These aren't just nice statistics. They're evidence of a deliberate, well-executed plan to support a sustainable revaluation. One of the more important signals Frank points to is the alignment between Iraq's fiscal budget planning and a 1.4 exchange rate. Multiple contracts, infrastructure projects, and public wage distributions in Iraq appear to be operating under this rate, which suggests it's already functionally in use. In Vietnam, the rising trade surplus and foreign direct investment figures further support the idea that the VND is positioned for a stronger global presence. As we continue with this update from Iraqi Dinar News, let's focus on what comes next. According to Frank26, the finalized IQD and VND rates may not appear suddenly on all Forex boards. Instead, their visibility could roll out in stages, beginning in non-US markets or smaller financial hubs. This gradual reveal would allow international banks and Forex traders to adapt without triggering system overload. Frank believes this phased rollout is already in motion, with certain international contracts, especially in the energy and infrastructure sectors, being quietly activated based on the updated rates. This is significant. When governments and corporations sign binding agreements at these higher rates, it confirms that the valuation shift isn't theory, it's already being honored at institutional levels. So what should everyday dinar and dong holders do right now? Frank's advice is simple: stay calm, stay aware, and be prepared. The transition will not be an overnight surprise, but it won't be entirely predictable either. This isn't about chasing get-rich-quick headlines. This is a methodical economic restructuring that favors informed strategic action. Frank urges people to keep a close eye on credible banking communications and global financial news. He also strongly advises against falling for misinformation, unverified claims, or promises of private insider deals. The truth, he says, is visible to anyone paying attention. It's written in data, not hype. A major component to monitor, according to Frank26, is Iraq's federal budget. Leaked details suggest planning and contract allocations are being executed with a 10.4 IQD to USD ratio, a critical clue pointing to internal acceptance of the new rate. At the same time, Vietnam is showing economic strength with rising foreign investment and surplus export figures. These real-world developments confirm that both countries are behaving as if their currencies already reflect stronger values, despite those rates not being fully public yet. Frank doesn't believe that's a coincidence. He sees it as calculated, coordinated progress aligned with a global financial strategy. Trust is foundational to this entire process. Revaluing a national currency isn't just about math. It's about convincing markets, investors, and nations that the new value is real, stable, and sustainable. Frank26 believes that Iraq and Vietnam have successfully built this foundation. Their work with institutions like the IMF and World Bank has reinforced legitimacy. Their structural reforms, from digital banking systems to anti-corruption initiatives, have built confidence. This credibility is what ultimately convinced international partners to finalize the rates now. What happens after public release? Frank expects a burst of activity in the foreign exchange markets during the first 48 to 72 hours. Traders will move quickly, banks will adjust balances, and some platforms may experience delays as systems are updated. This, he says, is normal. Volatility is part of any major financial shift. What matters more is how quickly the market stabilizes, and he believes it will, as long as communication from central banks remains consistent and measured. Frank also issues a serious warning about cybersecurity and scams. Whenever large revaluations occur, bad actors try to take advantage of investor excitement. He recommends avoiding any platform or individual offering a private banker deal, fast-track exchange, or premium access in exchange for your currency. Use only established, secure, and verified banking channels. Ensure your personal data is encrypted and safe. He reminds viewers that a currency revaluation is not just financial, it's a security event. Being informed and cautious is the best protection you have. One frequent question is whether the U.S. government will recognize the updated rates. According to Frank, the answer is yes. Once a rate becomes live on global Forex markets, it's automatically integrated into systems used by the U.S. Treasury, major banks, and financial apps. These are not backroom agreements, they become part of public, legally regulated finance. You won't need a special contact or invitation. The systems are built to reflect these updates in real time. Frank26 remains optimistic not just for investors, but for the people of Iraq and Vietnam. A stronger currency means lower import costs, more purchasing power, and economic dignity. He believes these changes could restore global standing to nations that have faced suppression and instability for decades. This isn't just about private wealth, it's about economic justice. It's about creating a future where both citizens and investors benefit from a fair valuation of a country's resources and potential. So where do we go from here? Frank suggests keeping your exit plan ready. Know how much you'll exchange, where you'll do it, how taxes apply, and what you'll do with the funds after. Don't wait for the moment to be announced. Anticipate it, prepare for it, be ready before it arrives. He ends his report by reminding viewers that opportunities like this are rare, and that wealth without structure often disappears. If you've held on this long, don't let poor planning rob you of what's coming. In summary, the message is clear. The rates are finalized, the systems are prepared, the moment is near. Stay calm, be strategic, and move with intention. This could be one of the most significant financial events of our lifetime. If managed correctly, it may become the turning point for thousands who had the foresight to believe and the discipline to wait. If you found this analysis helpful, subscribe to Iraqi Dinar News for continuous updates, trusted insights, and smart strategies as this revaluation unfolds. Stay focused, stay safe, and most of all, stay ready.